I use that book just on the Kindle itself.
Okay.
So that way I usually reading at least 4 to 5 books at the same time.
Okay. Hi, welcome. It's been, I wanted to meet with you and talk with you for a long, long time. And finally, now you're here. And, I've always wondered, you're, very, very, good in education, getting your, goals, achieving your goals. But I recently found out that you are a great reader, and I want to know what made you interested in and what motivated you to read so much.
So I've always loved reading, and when I was younger, I wouldn't read very much during the school year because I had this mindset I need to focus only on school, but I'd always devour books during my summer and winter breaks.
Okay.
During the end of med school, I realized that I do have to prioritize school, but life shouldn't stop just because I'm in school. So I tried to squeeze in a bit more reading. And I also thought, everybody only has so much time on this earth, so I might as well prioritize doing things I love and try to read as much as I can while I have the time.
Okay. So do you use your phone, or do you read on your phone or laptop, or do you read the hardcover books or the softcover? What is the format of the reading material?
So I actually have a system for how I read, and I read multiple books at the same time.
Okay.
So I like to read poetry, and I used to go on social media on my phone first thing in the morning, and I swapped that habit for reading about 5 to 10 minutes of poetry. So I have that on my bedside table. I always have a fiction or nonfiction book also on my bedside table that I read, and I read that at night.
So it's like a book,
like a paper book. Yeah.
Okay.
So I read that for at least 10 minutes a night, and then I also read that during the day if I have time. I always have an audiobook too on my phone. So I just, I have no affiliation with any of these apps. I really like the Amazon's Audible app.
Okay.
It's fantastic for audiobooks, and I like listening to memoirs, especially when they are read by the author themselves.
Okay.
So I'll listen to that when I'm driving, going to the gym, walking, or just doing chores around the house. And then I also have an ebook on the Kindle Cloud Reader app. So you don't actually need a Kindle to use it, which is the nice thing. So you can use that app both on your laptop or your phone.
Okay.
So I have that on my phone, and I'll read that when you're killing time at the airport or at the doctor's office, for instance.
Okay. So how does the app, what you use is does it tell you, let's say you stop at page 20, will it start from page, or let's say you start from page 20 on the cover, like a paper book. Would it connect, how does it connect to that audio, or it doesn't do that?
So on the Kindle Cloud Reader app,
Okay.
so the interface looks like an actual book with pages. So it'll say page 23 at the bottom, and it'll also say the nice thing, it'll have this little bar that says you completed 25% of the book too.
Okay.
So it spurs you on to read more.
Okay. So when you open it up next time, it will start from the same spot.
From wherever you left off. That's correct.
All right. And then if you, so whichever book you have on the Kindle app that you're talking about, you're going to read the same book on another place, or no? Or you're going to go back there?
I use that book just on the Kindle itself.
Okay.
So that way I usually reading at least 4 to 5 books at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically you're using different platforms on reading to read 4 different books, or 4 to 5 different books.
So in a nutshell, 1 poetry book, 2 either fiction or nonfiction books, 1 audiobook, and then 1 ebook.
Okay. So that's how many hours a day of reading?
So I can't quantify it in hours of day because most people don't have time to read for hours in a sitting. but it's more about the little moments that add up, the 5 or 10 minutes here.
Okay.
So let's say, with this system, I'll give you an example. So this morning I spent 10 minutes reading my poetry book.
Okay.
I was doing some chores around the house, so I spent 20 minutes listening to the Audible.
Okay.
So that's half an hour so far.
Okay.
And today I haven't read the ebook, but let's say theoretically I'm at the doctor's office and I'm waiting, so that could be an extra 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So that would be about 40 to 50 minutes. And then tonight I'm going to read at least 10 minutes of my book.
Okay.
So that amount, all that together, like it was just a few minutes here and there, but it comes close to an hour or more per day.
Okay. All right. And some days when the time goes up or the time, so average an hour a day.
Yeah.
But then the days you have more downtime, then you probably read more, right?
Exactly.
So is it a specific genre, or you said it doesn't, like you have poetry and then you have fictional, and then it doesn't, so how would you know like what's the next interesting book to read?
That's a good question. So, I mean, there's various things. There's always the old-fashioned word of mouth. Typically, your friends have similar interests to you.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they'll say, oh, I read this book, Mohini, I think you really like it. And so then I read it and turns out I do like it. I really like the Goodreads app as well, because you can follow your friends or certain authors on it, and based on the books that you read, it'll recommend like similar books. So that's how I find a lot of the books I like on there.
Okay.
Bit of a tangent, but that Goodreads app is fantastic too, because you can upload like the books you're currently reading and you can track your progress. So every time, let's say I've read another 5 pages of my poetry book, I'll input that, okay, I'm now at page 32, and it'll say, you know, you're 30-40% complete with the book. So
it kind of sets goals for you, or kind of keep tracks of how much you're progressing, right?
And when you can see that tangible bit of progress, it motivates you to read more and more. And you can set a reading challenge on there. So I had one where I would read 25 books a year. So I think in 2021, I think I read 33 to 36 books. And then last year I read 23 out of 25, which is still pretty good. This year, it's only August. I have read 31 books. So I'm about 16 books ahead of my goal already.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's becoming part of your life.
Yeah.
That it's like you're actually really enjoying it, and you know. So it's. Do you think it's helpful? Like we watch, you know, I've seen that, we watch so much TV and all that. Is it different kind of entertainment? Like, do you feel that when you watch a TV series versus when you read a book, is it comparable, or is it like you kind of say, oh yeah, it's entertainment, it doesn't matter, or is it different for your mind?
Yeah, it's different, and you know, I want to say this without putting down television, because I think TV and movies are actually a fantastic way to engage your brain as well.
Yeah.
But books are a little bit different form. So sometimes I'll read a book and then I'll watch the film series, and 9 times out of 10 I will like the book more, because a book gives you 6+ hours of time to delve into the backstory of the characters in the world. But with a film you have only 2 hours, so there's only so much they can talk about.
Okay, so that's interesting. You know, I never knew that side of yours. Like, I knew you were a really good student, I knew you were like into fitness, but I didn't know this side, that you were such a great reader. And then I'm actually amazed, and I feel like I feel motivated that, you know, I'm going to start reading now, because sometimes, you know, we get so busy. I think we all like have so much time, and I think and nowadays with technology and all these different like audio books and all that, it's probably you can find time, right?
Exactly. Like, I couldn't have done this when I was in high school, because like you said, this technology didn't exist, or even like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But now I can find little ways to fit in more reading into my schedule.
Yeah.
And even if you read just by read, I'm going to include ebook, Audible,
Everything,
whatever.
yeah.
For 10 minutes a day, that can amount to a minimum of about 10 to 12 books a year.
Yeah. And it's good. I think it relaxes you and keeps the person like. I've seen that even better words to process and things like that, right? That is awesome, Uli. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you've motivated me, and I know whoever is going to watch this is going to learn that it's actually possible to read, even if you have a busy life.
Yeah.
Right? You can. There are all these apps or different kinds of programs that you use, and you can monitor how much you've read, motivates you, and it encourages you to read more. And as you said, like it's generally relaxing. Watch it. We all go to social media early in the morning, everything, going to all these apps. But I think probably reading calms people down and keeps you. So I'm so proud, and I'm glad that we talked about it. Thank you so much, Mohini.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I wanted to add one more quick thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's important to only read books that you like, and something that took me years to learn is that it's okay to put down books you don't like as well.
Okay.
It gives you more time to read books you actually do like.
Okay. So don't feel bad when you're
Exactly. If you need to put something down, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it should bring you pleasure always.
So don't be forcefully like just because you started, so you have to finish it. Don't.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Just tell Sanjana.